5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Red Door Conversations podcast. Happy Friday.
Hey!
Hey, y'all, I'm Kim Dixon Dudley, and I'm joining you live from Inside the Loop in Houston, Texas. And of course, joining me today are my lovely co-hosts. Hey, Miss Lisa White.
Hey!
Hey there. Hey, Marla Lewis.
Hey, I'm ready. It's Friday. Let's go.
Y'all, today's show is Summertime Hot, and we are talking about everything that's on everyone's mind right now. What are we doing for vacation?
That's it.
Right. So we're going to be discussing the safest options for your vacation or your staycation in the U.S. or abroad. And joining us in the conversation today, we have two travel experts. Miss Jaquay Young with Young Lifestyles Travel. Hey, Jaquay.
Hello.
And Miss Manasia Young. No relation, right?
No,
yes.
I'm Young L. Also, I'm Young L.
Hey, Manasia.
Hi.
Okay, and you guys, they're going to be sharing insider industry travel tips with us. They're going to be giving us the scoops and all the details on how to travel right now safely during COVID-19. So you're going to want to sit down and get a pen and paper, whether you're driving, you're flying, you're booking a hotel or Airbnb. This is the show to get the facts on what you need to do in order to stay safe and plan a fun trip for 2020 summer. So get your Friday beverage of choice, and whether you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or watching us on Facebook, sit back, relax, take some notes, and join us while we give you some tips about traveling during COVID-19. Let's get into it. Jaquay.
Yes.
Jaquay, tell us a little bit about Young Lifestyles Travel.
Well, Young Lifestyle Travel, first I want to say thank you all for the invite. It was very, I'm honored to be in the room with you ladies. But Young Lifestyle Travel is a business that...
She's frozen up.
It's going on the 5th year. We just pretty much have cornered this market with sisters and brothers, and I like to call us sisters and brothers. That has been 100% of our clientele, and we think different when it comes to travel. We different momentum. So that's all I've been doing is feeding our people with the proper where they need it and get back financially. So that's what we do. That's what we specialize in, to make sure that we can travel around the globe and have the best time of our lives in places that you would never think you would have the best time of your life and not spend a lot of money. Okay. That's been our goal in Young Lifestyle Traveling. And I know in COVID-19, there's been a huge switch. There's been a huge switch with everyone traveling right now. No matter where background, whatever you come from, everyone has halted. And I'm here to say, don't halt your summer plans.
Really? Okay,
yes.
So what are some of the tips that you and your company are recommending for people? Just basic tips so far for traveling, either locally or abroad.
Well, with my client, I keep saying my clientele because it's very niche. Basically, the tips is don't stop your plans, but just stay safe as you would always do when you go out and travel. Think about how you would travel in the past before COVID and apply those same methods and add a few more, like your mask and things like that, sanitizer, make sure your hands are clean. But don't worry about going overseas right now. Even though some of the borders are still locked as far as going overseas to Europe, and things like that. But there's islands that you can get to. The boats are a no-go. So we know we can't get on cruise ships right now, which is my favorite choice, believe it or not, the Petri dishes. But it's not a bad thing if you keep yourself clean. This is what they've been trying to push. And I like that COVID has changed that karma of how people are not being cleansing themselves. So now they are. I love that change in travel, that now we're being more clean and aware. So I say, get in the car. You can go to Utah, you can go to Florida, you can go to California. It's so beautiful. Las Vegas. There's so many places with water that you can go.
I'm repping my favorite U.S. destination, Napa Valley. I can't be there in physical presence, but I'm definitely there in spirit. So that was a good one. California is definitely a destination for us. So I'm taking notes today because I want to know what we're driving. So I want to know what we need to do. I have friends who rented an RV, you guys, and they drove out to the Grand Canyon. But if we're traveling, you have to get out and go to the bathroom, or are there different places that are like, hey, we're not open to the public like they normally are? Uh-oh, Jaquaya's freezing up.
Yes, a lot of the parks, I say, before you get in the car. Oh, hold on. Can y'all hear me now?
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm.
Check this out. Is it no
So-
my end? Crap. Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes.
Yes?
Mhm.
Okay. So ask that question again. Well, yes, some parks are closed. So before you get in your car, definitely look up the parks, the national parks, Silver Falls in Oregon. There's a lot of them that may be closed. So you don't want to drive that far and find out, oh, they're not open to the public anymore.
Right.
So definitely be careful about that.
Marla.
Road trips are one of my personal favorite things to do. I just want to talk about, I guess, some destinations that are close by for people that don't necessarily want to leave Texas, because I know right now, because of COVID, people are trying to enjoy themselves. However, they want to stay close to home. So, some of the things that I was thinking about, Jaquay, and you can tell me, Austin, Texas. I mean, a beautiful city with a great nightlife for people to drive to. Big Bend National Park, but I know, like you said, you have to call and make sure of what the changes are. I thought about even Cascade Cavern, that's 45 minutes north of San Antonio.
That's
Then,
beautiful.
another place that I've never been, but I saw it. I looked it up. It was a Dinosaur Valley State Park.
Yes.
That's another state park. Maybe I'll look into going there.
Mhm.
And then, of course, right here in Houston or Galveston for a staycation.
Yes. Yes.
So what are some things that we could do for families that want to stay? Tell
So
us about that.
what's so beautiful, I found out in Huntsville, there's a place called the Blue Lagoon. They have all sort of rafting, not water.
Jaquay. Uh-oh. Oh,
Where
and she's giving us some
you-
good information too. I'm taking
Yes,
notes.
and it's
All I
freezing
got
up.
to is Blue Lagoon.
Right. Right.
In Huntsville, Blue Lagoon in
Lagoon.
Huntsville.
Okay.
Yeah, but you
I've
have
never
to be
been.
careful.
So.
With the Blue Lagoon, I do warn you, they will have some restrictions that someone would have to be a diver, like that knows how to dive, before you get entry. But I'm telling you, you don't have to dive because it's like a beach. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's in Huntsville.
Okay. So could they possibly get their like little certification there?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right.
that's a good question. Go to the website. I haven't looked up that part. It's a Blue Lagoon in Huntsville.
Okay.
And when I saw it, I was mesmerized. I was like, this is right up the street. Another thing I just found out that Margaritaville is in Conroe.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't I
Yep.
know that? And I'm a travel agent.
Right. It's very new. Don't feel bad. It's very new. It was something else, and they just recently, it just opened in June.
Oh,
Mhm.
good. Because I
It
thought I was
just
slipping.
But
Okay.
Lisa, you got some pricing, didn't you, Lisa?
Yes, they just started taking reservations. The first weekend that they were open was the weekend of June the 26th. And I believe the rates for that was like $279 per night. But
That's
for
good.
Fourth of
That
July
good?
week,
For a
Fourth of
That's
month?
July,
good.
Fourth of July weekend, it was $500. And
I believe you.
I was like, no, I can't do that.
Well, I say it's a good price because I saw the complex, and I saw how large their
It's
lazy
nice.
river was.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be in that lazy river for 30 minutes and not realize, and not do anything. Drink your drink
Mhm.
and let that thing carry you. That's worth the $279 to walk out of your room and be right there by all this water.
Mhm.
That's pretty good. And I had to you didn't have to get on a plane. And we know those prices will drop. Us as travel agents, we're kind of wading through this thing, but we're trying to tell our people locally, our prices will be a lot higher in the US than if you go to Mexico or things, the islands right now. But that
Mhm.
thing will change very soon as they get a hold of COVID. The
Mhm.
prices are going to have to get competitive again.
Mhm. So let me ask you this, because I know pre-COVID, people had their travel plans ready to go. They had made those
hmm
plans and they were looking forward to those plans, and some disappointment came
A lot.
because they had to cancel, or
hmm
the venue they were headed to had to cancel. What can people do? What would your suggestion be?
Well, I personally canceled almost 300 packages to all over the
Whoa.
world. And it was devastating for some of my people. So what I had to do was teach them how to get their money back. I teach them up front. When they come to us, we teach them, if you put the insurance down, it's for times like this.
Mhm.
So now you don't lose $200 to $500 from the airlines. You only lose $100, you know, and you get the rest back refunded. It's going to take 30 to 60 days for you to get a refund. Just understand that. And there are some people like FunJet, Travel Vacations, and I call it BACS. Other travel agents know what that means. But if you are not into travel, it's called United Vacations, uh, FunJet Vacations. These people have put in place where you can keep your money in the books and get an extra 25% on top of your new trip. So you would just don't cancel, don't ask for a refund. They will hold your funds and apply it to the next trip that you book. Long as you book before December 2021, and your trip would have had to be planned by July 31st for that perk.
Oh,
So you
that's
don't have to,
awesome.
that is good. You don't have to buy the insurance. They're putting this in place
Right. But
because
people
of
who've
COVID.
already booked,
Okay.
these are people who had money on the books. I had people that had $4,000 just sitting there and they had to cancel. Well, instead of them canceling, they rolled that money plus 25% to a new trip. Okay. And they didn't have to lose any insurance. They didn't lose anything. They kept all of their money.
That's good information.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Wow.
good information.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask this question in regards to, I know we talked about a few places to road trip, but I'm asking, I guess, for personal reasons. I know the Corpus Christi area. I've been there before. And I know that it's not that far of a drive to get to South Padre Island. That's
Oh,
perhaps another beautiful place
yes.
that people could go to.
I've spent about 4 days on the actual beach. If you're not familiar with Corpus Christi, there's a part of the beach in South Padre Island where you can park your car, set up a tent, and you get a permit, of course. It's like 10 or 15 bucks. I can't remember. But you park your car, you can have a barbecue pit, and literally you walk across the sand and there's the beach. Like you're walking across the so-called road, you know, how they have the sand road, and you're right there at the beach. The water is just coming up. When you look at your tent, it's water. So the
I know.
fresh air of the water just coming off. It's a good thing to think about if families are huge and don't have a lot of money to work with. I definitely suggest get you a tent and get out there on that beach. It's very cheap and inexpensive, and you can even set your own barbecue pits up, barbecue all day, make sandwiches, and now you're not worried about hotels and all the other stuff that drains your pocket.
So let me ask you a question. For a family of 4 that wanted to go to Padre and let's just say stay the weekend, what would that cost entail? What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
If you're in a
go ahead.
hotel, if you're in a hotel room, you have to expect that 200 price tag, depending on the class. You know, I'm more of a 4 or 5 star person, so I know I'm going to pay $230 and up a night. But then if you kind of okay with the 3 stars, you're not really picky, you might do $150 and up. See that drastic difference a night. Make sure you're close to the beach, because it's well worth it to be able to just go to the beach, right? You know, you wake up in the morning and just walk straight to the beach. Don't slight yourself and get somewhere where you have to drive. That's the whole point of vacation, is to just have that freedom to walk down to wherever you want to relax. So I do tell people, don't cut yourself short. If you don't have 150 a night, again, camp out on the beach, find that public beach, and you pay the fee. It's like a state park type thing, and you stay right there on the beach. You know, it's
Now,
like $15 total.
Now you said that you did go to Padre. You've been to Padre during the pandemic. So what type of safety measures did the hotel have in place?
Well, I didn't go to Padre during the pandemic, but I have been to a hotel during the pandemic. And I will say, hotels with free breakfast, be aware that they may just give you a bag, you know, like a bag of fruit and, you know, some crackers or breakfast bars. And
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, this is good information. We're losing you. You're
Other
breaking up, Jaquay.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty much out of the question. The waffles and stuff, they're going to hand you probably a bag of fruit to keep down the you know, make sure everything's sanitized. Another thing is bedding. You want to make sure they're not going to be coming in and out of your room, you know, to change things and clean constantly, because they're trying to keep down the germs. So you may have to stick with your bedding, but go down to the front desk every night and ask for fresh sheets, and they should just hand them to you. Does that make sense? So don't get upset that they're not cleaning your room when you leave and they come back, because they're trying to keep down how many people was in your room if something breaks out. Does that make sense? So a lot has changed with the hospitality, but it's for your safety.
Okay. That is great information. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Lisa, you were talking earlier about some places, you and Marla were talking earlier about some places here that are local or close to Houston that people can get to. And to your point, Jaquay, the policies have changed in terms of social distancing, even at those outdoor parks.
You have to wear your mask. Yes, you have to have a mask. The water parks are not sticklers on that.
That exactly. The water parks are not sticklers for those masks. I mean, because it's hard when you're in water. That's a very difficult thing, you know, to stick
enforce.
to. Yeah. But you know, I'm the one on the podcast that has the littles, so I have done my due diligence, because every day, guys, they are asking me and Kevin, are we taking a vacation? Are we taking a vacation? And we want to be able to tell them yes, but you know, we are just being very, very cautious. You know, this thing is new to everybody, and we just don't want to put our children in harm's way. But we do realize that we're going to have to do something. And so with that being said, we actually, we looked into SeaWorld, we looked into Fiesta, Texas. We looked into Schlitterbahn, the location that's in New Braunfels, but their policy, the Schlitterbahn that's in New Braunfels and the Schlitterbahn that's in Galveston, those policies are the same. And we also looked at the Lost Pines resort. It's a Hyatt resort that's in Bastrop, Texas, which is right outside of Austin.
Very familiar.
We've been there before, and we absolutely loved it. And we also looked at the La Cantera, which is in San Antonio. So I'm going to start with the SeaWorld. So SeaWorld they're going to, let me just say first, all of them that I named, they're following the CDC guidelines. So for SeaWorld, and this goes for employees and guests, if you are 2 years of age or older, you're going to have to wear face coverings. They are, yes, 2 years old. They are only filling the parks up at 50%. So, and that is to make sure that the physical distancing is maintained. They're going to have, and this is for employees as well as guests. They're going to have cleaning and sanitation stations in various locations throughout the park. They are going to be taking your temperature upon entry. Now, that is for Fiesta Texas. SeaWorld doesn't say that they're going to be taking your temperature, but Fiesta Texas is. You have to reserve your spot. You're not going to be able to drive down there on a Friday, wake up Saturday morning and purchase your ticket at the gate. They're not doing any of that because that doesn't allow them the opportunity to be able to manage the number of people that they have going in. And so Fiesta Texas, one thing that they are doing is they are actually staggering the times that you're able to enter. And like, you know, if I purchased a ticket, my entry would probably be 9 a.m., but another family's entry could be 9:30. That's how they're doing that. Now on the Fiesta Texas has an amusement park side. They have a water park. And as Jaquay said, the water parks are not requiring the mask, but the amusement park side, they are requiring the mask. They also, Fiesta Texas, they're taking your temperature before you get in there. So, and another thing for all of the amusement parks, they are doing mobile. If you're ordering food, that's being done. You're paying for that through a mobile app. And their restaurants within the park, they have designated areas that families are allowed to sit.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
but it's
a lot. It is a lot. I mean, I looked at all of that and I'm thinking, okay, do we really want to do that?
Can I give you oh, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I give you one quick suggestion before we?
Yes.
I'm like waiting on her
On
to
Airbnb.
Right.
You have these big, huge homes on Airbnb all through Texas. I've done it. I've looked them up. And they're like 200 a night. Some are like 500 a night. But it's worth it because in the backyard, it's this beautiful oasis of land, pools, spas, trees, and it'll be all yours.
So
And
you
you don't have-
recommend Airbnb above a hotel?
For now. Because
Okay.
if you don't want to keep going, if you have little ones and you don't want to keep, they just want to play in the water. Listen, I've learned so much doing travel for 5 years about children and traveling. They don't care. All they want is the water. They don't care where it is.
So let me ask you from a sanitation standpoint, is it better to do an Airbnb over a hotel?
If you have little ones that you can't control putting their hands in their mouths, they're just always picking something off the ground, playing with them, and you just yelling all day at them, like, put that down, get that out your mouth. I have to do that with mine. So I would do an Airbnb right now because you just can't, you can't trust where their hands were, and you know they're going to put them in their mouths. Don't get mad at them in public. That's your child right now. Find a place that's safe for them that you can control for that time. Those with older children, by all means, 13 and up, 12 and up, 11 and up, 10 and up, you know, go find a place in a hotel that has a beautiful pool and enjoy yourself. But children are not concerned. They just want water.
And I'd like to add something too. I actually saw something maybe a month or so ago where they were saying that with the Airbnb, they have new sanitation guidelines. And so the owners of those Airbnbs are able to show you that this one was sanitized properly. And yes.
And you can ask for those. Never book an Airbnb with no reviews. If it does not have any reviews, make sure it says verified host or top host. I can't remember the word, but it'll tell you that that host has other properties on Airbnb and they're a verified host. If it doesn't have any reviews, that's the only way I would tell you to book that. But if it doesn't have any reviews, run. Okay.
Mm.
Always pick one with reviews, even on HomeAway, Viator. What is
VRBO.
it called? VRBO.
VRBO.
Just make sure they have reviews so you don't lose your money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we wrap up, you guys, it's funny because we're talking about traveling locally, but I have a girlfriend who just came back from Mexico, like Monday.
My
And
goodness.
yes. And she was just telling me, because I asked her, I said, hey, what's different? And Manasia, you may be able to speak to this, because I asked her, I said, you're flying internationally. Flying internationally is tough, even when there's not a global pandemic going on.
Absolutely.
So, you know, she said the airports were more lax than the hotels in Mexico. The hotels in Mexico, they said, it was all-inclusive hotel. She said there was a huge military presence, and the military was making you put your mask over your face. They are only at 30% occupancy. So the hotels are kind of spreading out. That's how they're enforcing social distancing. And at every place that you enter, restaurants, stores, they wash your feet in and out, going in and out. They're washing your feet. And so her in-laws have actually been living in Mexico for 2 years. I mean, 2 months. But the flight thing, I couldn't get past the flight just being easier than normal international travel. Manasia, are there any policies that we need to know about if somebody's planning to get on a plane and fly to Mexico or another country that's allowing U.S. citizens right now?
I know for like Europe, for instance, if you don't have a United Nations passport, you're not allowed to go into Europe at the moment. They really don't want U.S. citizens going overseas, just because of the fact that our numbers are a lot higher. I know for my airline, for instance, we were supposed to be returning back to doing European flights, but they kind of put it back, and they're trying to resume them back in August. So I just know that in certain areas it's a lot tougher. For Israel, for instance, you have to quarantine in your hotel for 2 weeks. You're not allowed to leave out. Hawaii, I know it's a part of the U.S., but they're saying the same thing. Quarantine 2 weeks inside of your hotel. Canada, no U.S. citizens are allowed to go in, and that's from air travel and driving as well. So each country is kind of doing their own thing, and just making sure that the spread of COVID cannot affect their country if you are going back into traveling. I know for islands, for instance, you do have to get tested for COVID up to 72 hours before your flight, and it does have to come back negative in order for you to go into their area. And if it comes back positive, then of course you won't be able to travel into their island as a citizen. It's very different.
Wow.
Wait, where was that you have to test 72 hours prior to?
Up to 72 hours. I've seen it where it's 48 hours before your flight to test for it. And that just depends on which island you're trying to go into.
Oh, islands.
Islands. Yes.
Okay.
So,
And what about the sanitation,
right.
Manasia? I'm kind of liking this because, I'm hearing that it's safer now and cleaner now. Is that true?
Oh yes, it's a lot cleaner. They're actually cleaning the planes the way I would want to clean the planes. Every morning, in between flights, they are getting in there and they are like rubbing stuff down. I always joke and I would say like, don't get on the tray table, because I've seen people change their babies on tray tables. I've seen some nasty things happen on those tray tables. And they actually started to clean the tray tables down. Like they are taking each tray table down from the seat, wiping them down, wiping down seats, cleaning the in between the seats, cleaning seatbelts, getting the windows. Everything is being thoroughly cleaned.
This is
They're doing
refreshing.
overhead bins. Yes, I'm a clean freak, so I was like, yes, finally, like I can feel safe and type of thing. Bathrooms are being cleaned, and then they're also supplying like Germ-X wipes as soon as you get on the plane as well, so that you also are able to wipe down your area.
That's
awesome. Good. Thank you guys so much for being on the show today, Manasia, who is an airline
Stewardess. Yes.
professional, guys, and also Jaquay of Young Lifestyles Travel. Before we go, Jaquay, how can people get a hold of you if they'd like to book something with you?
Well, actually, I have a team now because after COVID, you had to get a team. But basically, Facebook is Young Lifestyle Travel without an S, so Young Lifestyle Travel.
Mm.
And I'm the one with the colorful logo because someone else stole my name. And we're
Okay.
doing business. So, long story short, Young Lifestyle Travel on Instagram as well as like I say, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, my email travel@ylstravel.com.
All right. Thank you so much. And to our
Thank
audience,
you.
Thank you for joining us, audience. If you want to find us, we can be found on YouTube. We can be found on Facebook at Red Door Conversations, Instagram at Red Door Conversations. Thank you for being here in this show with us, and we hope to see you at some of these destinations and places that we've talked about today. Enjoy your weekend, guys.
Stay safe.
Thank you, ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.